So I'm your lobbyist. I'm Carolyn Logue, and I just want to introduce myself, and I'd like you guys to introduce yourselves to me too, so I kind of know what's going on. I'm going to work with you guys on this kind of moving some things, see if we can move something through the legislature and helping you understand how the legislature works, so that you can start to kind of, when you're reading about it or as you go through your lives, you'll know kind of what's going on, and you'll be able to have a little better understanding of how the process works, so you can participate in it, because it is one of the fun things about our country is you can participate in this process as an individual. So let's just start off, I think, real quick, just getting to know each other. My name's Carolyn. You can call me Carolyn. I've been lobbying, oh boy, since 1992, so for quite a long time. I work with a number of different clients. I work with independent grocery stores. I work with online school providers. I work with the libraries, school libraries and public libraries across the state. And then I have kind of some smaller clients. I have the Northwest Hearth Patio and Barbecue Association, so wood stoves, the wood stove industry, denturists. So if you need false teeth, I can hook you up. And I also work with independent medical exam providers, some doctors who do second opinion exams, and I have a chamber of commerce. So a number of different clients, a lot of different issues. It keeps me busy, it keeps me involved in quite a few things. Gets frustrating sometimes, but kind of most of my issues are business and education issues that I work with. So it's a lot of fun. I also am working right now with the ACLU on the bill that repeals the death penalty. That's been a project I've been working on them for about 3 years with them. So it's kind of a different one too. So that's what I do. I live here in Olympia. I have 2 kids. So pretty basic. They're grown, and so they're out of the house. So I get to have fun again now. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves to me and tell me a little bit about what you'd like to focus on this year. Who wants to start? Let's start with just your names.
I'm Keenan Adams Kennard.
Okay, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Slaughter.
Keenan?
Yes, Keenan Adams Kennard.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sometimes I can't hear well. Who's next?
Shamar Slaughter.
Shamar, nice to meet you. You can just give me your first names if you want.
My name's Jake.
I didn't hear that one.
Jake.
Jake. All right, Jake.
My name's Keon Sims.
Keon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right.
My name's Joe.
Joe? All right.
My name's Aaron.
What?
Aaron.
Aaron. All right.
My name is Deontay Moore Lyons.
Deontay? Nice to meet you guys. Who's it back?
My name is Isaac.
I didn't hear that one. Sorry.
Isaac.
Isaac. Thank you. And one more. Do I have everybody now?
I think that's everyone.
That's everybody. Great. So have you guys started to look through the issues and the bills and things like that? Okay. So here's what I need to do. You guys are going to have homework. I need you to start to look through some of the list of bills and kind of come up as a group an issue topic area or a particular bill that you'd be interested in either supporting or opposing. You don't have to help pass this bill. We could actually look at what it takes to kill a bill if you see something you don't like. It doesn't have to be something that you love. It could be something that's be like, that should not happen. So we want to help stop that. So either one, but you as a group sort of need to kind of come up with your bill that you want to look at, that you want to follow through the process. Maybe come up with a couple if you can, and what you want your group position to be on that bill, how you feel about it. So you're going to have to read about it and understand it. Then what I will do is I will try to bring in the bill sponsors to talk to you, why they're doing it. I can also get you information, and then I will try to link you guys into how, if you support the bill or oppose the bill, how you can get your position heard by the legislators who are hearing that bill and who are working on it, and how it moves through the process. You guys okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You guys, how many of you feel you have a pretty good handle on how bills move through the legislative process? No? You do? Okay, a couple of you. All right. Well, so they start off, a bill is a proposed piece of legislation. And so what it is somebody somewhere has an idea, says there ought to be a law, and they sit down and they write the law, and then a legislator, it can't be just anyone, you have to get a legislator to introduce that bill into the legislative process. So if it's there's two houses, there's the Senate and then the House of Representatives. Either a senator or a representative can introduce a bill. If a senator introduces a bill, it has an SB number, a Senate bill number. If a House of Representatives member introduces a bill, it is an HB number. That bill then gets referred to a committee that will hear the bill. Or actually, sometimes the committee chairs say, no, I don't want to hear that bill. They don't like the idea, and they can say no and refuse to hear a bill. So hopefully your committee, if you have a bill and you want it passed, the committee chair agrees to hear it. And it then, from that point, is voted on by the committee, voted out of the committee in either house, goes to the Rules Committee in that particular house where it was introduced. And if it's passed out of the Rules Committee, goes to the floor of the house where it was introduced, is then voted on by the floor. If it passes there, it then transfers over to the other house. So when we're doing this, we like to think of sort of the midpoint in session when bills are transferring across. You can't actually see them, but all of a sudden all these things are happening and you feel like everything's just sort of passing back and forth, and it goes fast and you have to track it. But then it goes through the whole process again in the opposite house. And if it passes the opposite house, that's when it can go to the governor to be signed. So you have to have both houses pass the bill in order for it to go to the governor, and then the governor has to sign it in order for it to become law. So it's really hard to pass a bill. It doesn't take much. We get about 3,000 bills, I think, introduced every year. About 500 actually make it through. So passing a bill is really hard. Killing a bill can sometimes be more fun. You get a bad idea, and sometimes it's more fun to stop it. It's also a lot easier. But it's something I think that where once you start to get to the process, there's all sorts of different things that can happen. But sometimes just making sure if you've got an idea and you're trying to pass a bill, that you can make it go through there, that you have to kind of know who you have to have legislators you're working with. As lobbyists, there are certain points where we can't go in, like when they're on the floor, and talk. So yes, I see a question back there. Remind me of your name too, because I'm trying to track you.
My name is Shamar.
Okay, Shamar.
So what if half of you guys think the bill's a good idea and then the other half don't?
You have to get the votes. And so what happens is you have to have a majority vote for most bills. So in the Senate, there are 49 senators, so you need to have 25 votes in favor of a bill to pass it. In the House, there are 98, so you have to have 50 votes. So you have to have basically half plus one. So you have to get that majority. If you don't, your bill doesn't go anywhere, even if you think it's a great idea. So half the time with the lobbyists, what my job is to convince people that that's a good idea. It's kind of like a salesman's job. You're sort of selling the idea to the legislators that it should happen, and you have to have a lot of good information about why it should happen. Any other questions? We'll take questions now. It'd be great. Give me some idea. Oh, go ahead. You're Keenan, right?
Yes, ma'am. Have you ever presented a bill and it got passed?
I didn't hear that last
I
statement.
said, have you ever presented a bill and it was passed?
Yes, quite a few times. That's always exciting. So, let's see, one that we passed. Do you have a library there at Green Hill? Okay.
Yeah.
Back in the olden days when I was in school, libraries were pretty much just books. You got some computers in your library? Okay. Not enough? You don't have any good ones? All right, you got to work on that. So anyhow, working with the librarians, one of the things we did do is change the definition of what a school library is. It used to be just a place where there were books and you did reading. We've changed the library, so it's a school library information and technology program. So when school districts are looking at what should they do with their libraries, there's actually a law that says you should be looking at having not only books, but also technology and technology instruction happening in that library. So that's kind of an example of something we passed, trying to update what should be happening in those school libraries so that kids can actually use them and use them in a modern way. Yeah.
Now, how long is the process in which to pass a bill or get a bill denied?
Okay, sure. Each session has a number of constitutional number of days. So this year is a short session. It is only going to last 60 days. They could go into special session if things aren't done and they have something big, but generally you focus your timeline for this year on getting that bill out of there within that 60 days and off to the governor's desk. In the odd years, so next year, 2019, it'll be 105 days. So you kind of have to work within those timelines. However, each bill, like bills introduced that we're seeing this year, some were actually introduced last year. Each bill has a 2-year cycle, and sometimes it takes years. You just bring the bill back over and over and over again. Tamar.
Hey, so is it somebody that you guys got to give the bill to before you give it straight to the president or to the governor?
Yeah, we give it to the legislators. So a legislator, basically, think of it as I come up with a great idea and I get it written up, but I have to have a legislator, somebody who's actually been elected to the legislature, take that idea, think it's a great idea, and be the one who kind of is in charge of the bill as it goes through the process. And then it can go to the governor. So you have to have those legislators. They're really important. Those people that get elected to office, they're the ones who actually take the votes and move your bill along. So you really have to be giving them good information and convincing them that it's a good idea. Any other questions? Okay. Have you guys voted? Are any of you guys old enough to vote?
We're all ineligible.
You're all ineligible. Well, let's imagine. So before that, did you have the chance? Have you ever participated in even a mock vote? And do you look and see who's running for office? Okay. Yeah, it's important, I think, to do that, to kind of know how to do that, because I think it's important to know who those people are and why they run for office and what they're doing. So it's really something I think that is kind of a unique and interesting thing to our country. And you guys will have the opportunity to participate. And I'm going to give you a voice this year. So I really kind of want you to seriously look at the bill list. Your teachers there have the bills and have access to that. I want you to take a look and see if there's something. It could be something you think is fun. It doesn't, it could be something that you've never even thought of before. But kind of take a look. You look at the bill titles and you can kind of get an idea. And then you can actually look at the bill language. And it's just really interesting to kind of look at how these bills are written. Some you'll open it up and you'll go, oh my God, that bill is 400 pages long. It's too much. There's a lot of bills in there that are only 1 or 2 pages long. But I think it's good to kind of come up. Are there areas of interest that you guys have, topics, things that you've thought about that you'd like? Have you ever sat there and thought that shouldn't be a law, or there should be a law on that? Have you ever thought about that?
Auto decline.
Well, I didn't hear that.
Auto decline.
Auto decline? What is that?
It's like if I'm 16 and I go to the juvenile for like a class A felony, then straight to the county, as in like.
Okay. Well.
Department of Corrections.
As an adult.
As an adult. Being charged as an adult.
Okay. All right. So auto decline. So you'd kind of like to change that one. I don't know that there's a bill on that one this year, but that'd be something to look at. See if there's anything in that arena, and you can take a look at what they're trying to do. That's important. Anything else?
Are you?
Mark?
You don't even, I don't know if it's a bill or a law, but they can send you to Department of Corrections even if you're under 16. So I want to look into changing that.
Okay. I'll take a look and see if there's anything having to do with kind of the move from minors to adult in the correction system. And I'll kind of try to put that list together for you guys this weekend and send it to you. Anything else? Anything you're kind of maybe that you're sort of kind of thinking, dream about it a little bit. What would you change? And then we can take a look at that topic area and see if there's anything. How about outside of the correction system? Anything fun?
I feel like there should be more funding for like community centers in inner cities.
Okay. All right, I'll take a look for that too. See if there's anything there that dealing with that. Might be a budget item. That might be something fun to look at and see if there's community centers or something like that, we can maybe look at and maybe even find a legislator to draft a little proviso in the budget for us or something and see what's out there. You can always ask for a study. Okay, well, think about it a little bit, and let's see if we can. And then, but I do want you guys to kind of come to an agreement. I want you to kind of agree that this is what we'd like to look at, and I'll search a little bit and try to send some ideas out to you. I think that'll be good, and then I can kind of maybe that. I think that'll help. Right now, any particular questions on lobbying or anything like that that you were interested in, or what I do? Yes.
So, how long does it take till after you present a bill for it to like pass or get rejected?
Okay, that's good. That's a good question. So every legislative session, so let's just use this legislative session has already started this week.
What?
So they have cutoff days. So within the 60 days, the whole session should last 60 days. So there's a cutoff point. So the first cutoff date is February 2nd for this legislative session. By February 2nd, your bill needs to have been introduced, heard, and voted out of the committee in order for it to continue to be alive this session. So if it doesn't get introduced, heard, and voted out of committee by February 2nd, it doesn't continue. It's dead. It's dead for the session. And so you have to come back the next year and try again.
So if it does like get approved, like when would you find out? At the end of the 60 days?
You'll know. No, you'll know, because this is what I'm going to kind of show you guys. This is what lobbyists do. We will know because we will be following that bill through the whole process. So we will know when it is voted, when it is heard. We'll know when it's introduced, when it is heard, when it's going to be coming up. One of the things that I do as a lobbyist is I say, hey, Senator so-and-so, you're the chair of this committee, and this bill needs to be brought up for a vote so we can keep it alive past the cutoff date. And so we will actually try to schedule it, and we'll know when it's scheduled for its vote. So we try to help get the vote. We talk to the individual legislators to get them to help us vote it out of committee. So we don't just put it in and let it go. We stay with it and watch it and literally babysit it through the process in order to keep it alive. If you just put it in and let it go, unless you have a legislator who loves it, who's really aggressive about working with it, oftentimes those will just die, especially in these short sessions where there's not a lot of time. So yeah, well, that's what we'll be doing. You'll be picking kind of a bill, and we'll be helping to push it along if it's something you want to pass.
I got a question. So you said it had to be approved. You said 49 senators?
There's 49 senators. You got to get at least half of them plus one. So that's 25.
And that's for the whole country, right?
No, this is just our state.
Each state has 49 senators?
No, if you guys, okay, so each state has its own state legislative process. So we are in Washington, so we're doing Washington. So but like we have what's called bicameral legislators, and most states have bicameral. That means two houses. It means they have a House of Representatives and a Senate, and the bills have to pass both and go to the governor. Nebraska has a unicameral. They only have one house that you have to worry about, so it's a little different. But ours is very much, most of the states operate a little bit like a smaller version of the federal, which is a House and a Senate. And there's usually the Senate. So you have 49 legislative districts in Washington state. So the state is divided up into 49 different legislative districts. Each legislative district has one senator and two representatives. That's how come you have 98 representatives in the House of Representatives and 49 senators in the Senate. So similar to the country, where nationally, the House of Representatives, the country is divided up to districts based on population. They're different than our state legislative districts, but it's a similar calculation. And then the Senate, each state has two senators that go back to Washington, D.C. So
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
So we're kind of like a smaller version, but each state has a little different calculation of how they do that. But it's usually very similar. But it is interesting when you think of Nebraska, it just has that one house. They're built in one place.
Yep. So for this session, have you heard anything about juvenile justice?
I have not, and I will look for it. I will, because it's not in my wheelhouse as far as my clients. So now that I know you guys have a significant interest in it, I will go see what I can find.
So there is specific lobbyists on specific topics.
Yep.
That's what she was saying. She does business.
Yeah, there's lobbyists. There's about 900 registered lobbyists in Washington State. So you come up here, if you guys were to come up here, you'd see just people all over the place during the legislative session. Some of them are lobbyists, some of them are not. But lobbyists generally are the ones we're paid actually to be here on behalf of other people. Because, my clients I work with grocery stores. The grocery store owners and employees are working in the grocery store. They don't have time to be up here making sure those bills get voted on and things happen. So they pay someone like me to be here for them. That's basically what a lobbyist does.
So do you have like specific legislators that you go to personally?
I have some that I do better with than others. Yeah, I think every lobbyist, it depends on the issue areas. I know who's really good on my grocery stores issues. I know who's really good on my school librarians issues. I know who's really good on, who likes false teeth and likes the denturists. Right. And so when I have an issue for those clients, I tend to go to those people. But I have to try to convince the others too, because you do need all the votes. But yeah, I do have people I go to, but not one or two, just usually it depends on the issue. Depends on their interest as well. So, and there are, the two parties, Republicans and Democrats. My grocery stores are businesses, so Republicans tend to like their issues better. Librarians, I tend to get sometimes more support from the Democrats. And I work with all of them.
So were you supportive on the tax on sugary drinks?
I hate that tax. I personally, I hate it, and I can tell you my grocery stores hate it too. How do you guys feel it? That's Seattle. That's not even at the state, but there may be a bill. There is a bill here at the state level on that, but I don't know that it'll go anywhere. What do you guys think about that issue?
I hadn't even heard of it.
I think it's a damn shame.
It is.
No more 99-cent Arizonas. That's all I heard when they're tax.
What did they add, about $1.75 to a 6-pack of soda or something like that, just because it has sugar?
I'm just trying to get a golden beer.
Is diet soda just as unhealthy for you? If that's the reason you're doing the tax? No.
It passed?
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't see
it just means that everyone's going to be driving over to Oregon to get some soda. That's all.
Well, actually, since it's just Seattle, you can just buy it in Auburn instead of the city of Seattle. How's that?
Also, you can buy it in Oregon.
There you go. You're good.
Centralia doesn't have it. You guys can ask somebody right out and get you a 6-pack. It's a lot cheaper.
Oh.
Than in Seattle.
Oh, that.
Of soda, guys.
Yes. I have a question.
Sure.
Evan over here. So right now, what do you think the climate is in the Senate versus the House of Representatives for passing a bill on juvenile justice issues? Do you think for the Senate or the House first?
I really don't know. The majority has changed. So you have a majority. So each of the Senate, you have the Republicans and Democrats, and they have their own caucuses. And at any given time, one or somebody's in charge. And the majority, whichever party has the most people in that body, in that house, gets to pick all the chairmanships and the leadership positions. They're both Democrats right now, but I would think the House, if I were to guess on juvenile justice issues, the House probably is more apt to have something that will be going, that would be starting there. I'll check. But I would say right now the House has more Democrats, and it's more probably a group that would be looking at that. The Senate, I think, is going to be a little bit more slower. The Democrats just took the majority there. And so I think they've got other issues. They're working on equal pay for women and things like that. So we'll see. I think there's some things out there that might be interesting. I'll take a look.
Thank you.
Any other last questions? Any other issue areas you want me to look at? Do you want to focus on you guys as a group pretty much want me to just focus on the juvenile justice system and what's out there?
Yes, please.
All right, I will do that.
Now that actually I'm reviewing at headquarters, and it's raising the age to 25. Okay. And it's also for juvenile life. It's also getting rid of auto decline besides murder, so all the robbery ones and anything else that would come.
About 10.
What was that number?
Hey, why don't you come introduce? Yeah. Our chair of our committee is here.
Oh, good. Come on up.
Gotcha.
Hi.
She's the chair of the committee?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's seeing you right now.
Yeah.
Hi. My name is Evelyn. I work for DSHS at Behavioral Health Headquarters.
Okay.
So, yeah. So right now there's the two bills that are that for juvenile justice that I'm aware of. I think there might be another one when it comes to SUD treatment with youth in JR, but I know those two for sure.
What are the bill numbers again?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll look for it. We're going to pull up, I think we've got a little bit of time. We're going to pull up the list of how you look for bills. You guys can see that. So you go to the ledge.wad.gov, and I assume David here is going to send you all this information so you guys can all look at it.
Yeah, so I'm sharing this.
Hey, there you go.
Okay.
He's on there.
Go ahead and,
She's doing better than you, Brian.
Okay. Well, let's go through. First of all, let's we got to go to the menu over there on the left and go to bill information. All right. Go down to the search. Actually, let's do search the full text of a bill. And let's just search juvenile justice right now to see what happens if anything pops up. Okay, then we got to go down and we're going to scroll down to all bills, memorials, and resolutions. Just click that. And now go back up and do search.
Is that Brian typing it?
Down over here. There it is. Yep.
He's not that fast.
Okay, so we've got
Damn, there's hella.
a bunch of different stuff popping up. This is just juvenile justice. Showing budget. Okay, so you can see there's number of pages. You go to page 2. Oh, here we go. Assessing the needs of girls and young women currently involved. I don't know if you guys want to do that one. Let's see. Last time so phasing out the use of valid court exception to place youth in detention for non-criminal behavior. Yeah, you can kind of see there's a whole bunch of bills there that might legal financial obligations. I know that's one that might have some issues for you guys. So you can see there's a whole bunch of different bills. So go ahead and take a look. Relief from notice of the duty to register.
Convicted adult court.
Yeah, there you go. Related to confinement in juvenile rehabilitation facilities for 5613. Yeah. So then you click on it, you can kind of see. So let's kind of go run through it real quick. You can kind of see they're amending. So just keep scrolling down. There you go. So whenever a child under the age, you can kind of see. So I'm going to just real quick, when you're looking at these bills, stop for a minute, David. When you see underlined blank, so if you go back up a little bit. See where it says section 2 right there and then it has RCW?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that means they're changing an existing law. So there's already a law and they're making changes to that law. If it said new section and didn't have that RCW number, that would mean they were making a whole new law. So they are going in and actually changing an existing law. So you can see what they're doing. They're saying that instead of putting the kid in initially placed in a facility operated Department of Corrections, because corrections is taken out, and then the underline, so if you see a line through, that means they're deleting. Then the underline, social and health services, means that they're changing that from Department of Corrections to DSHS. That might be a good one for you guys to look at, because that sounds like it's kind of within what you were looking at. It's basically saying that instead of corrections, that basically DSHS, they're going to expand the age to 25. So that's before. So this might be one for you guys to look at.
They're gonna have to build new facilities. They're gonna have to make the facilities based off the age.
13.
You know, people look at 14. You know, I think that's like almost 10 years.
No, but they'll have to reopen. They'll have to reopen. Maybe Lane turn into probably like 21 or 25.
I told that to Will Rowdy. He said, no.
Okay, now we're looking at where it is in the process. So scroll down. So Senators Darnell, Gooder, and Saldana. So good senators, and they're in the majority. So that's good. The bill is, and now I'm looking to see where the bill is right now. Keep going. It's in its present status. So go back up so I can see where it's present. All right, that means it's probably still in. It's went back to Ways and Means. Yeah. So that might be a good one for you guys to look at. Take a look at that one. It has a companion bill 1743, which means, so what I'm looking at right now says SB 5613. And if you look down, it says companion bill, HB. So Senate bill is the Senate bill. That's the one in the Senate. It means it has another bill just like it over in the House. That's its companion bill. That's why it's called a companion.
Hey, so are those where it says sponsors? Are those the lobby?
No, those are the legislators. Go back up to sponsors.
Neil's the one that came up here.
Yeah, these are not the lobbyists. These are the people who are actually signed on and support this bill.
Oh, that's good.
So, and I'm looking at it right now. The first one's a Democrat. The second one's a Republican. Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. Wow, Democrat. Yeah, they've got some. It's bipartisan, which gives it something to look at. Let's look at where that one is. Scroll 1743.
I mean, this has got a good chance.
Oh yeah, so this one is Learning and Human Services. So let's see if these are going to get a hearing. I'll ask those legislators if this is going to get a hearing too. So yeah, take a look through that. Do the searches. Kind of take a look, but yeah, this might be something to look at.
Yeah, that one really got 3.
All right.
HB 73.
Okay, we stopped sharing. Are we? I think we're done.
5613.
Guys, any last questions before we go? Because I think our time's up.
5613.
No, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Yeah, appreciate
Appreciate you being present.
All right, I'll send some information and I'll take a look at these and find out just what's happening with these bills too. If they're
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right. Thanks you.
Yep. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Bye.